Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. We're going to make our way to Drangleic Castle now and take on the second part of the story of Dark Souls 2. And this is when it really becomes interesting, in my opinion. I like this half of the story. I prefer it over the first half, I think. And you can warp there from the Majula bonfire. You just go to the ruined Fork Road bonfire, which is in the shaded woods. The one where we met Creighton. And we talked to him, then we kind of startled him. I like to run there sometimes, just in case I miss things. And anyway, you want to take the exit up to the left when you come out of that bonfire, and you'll take on some of those goblins. You know, the ones that throw the rocks, the ones that do poison damage. They've got like a mono testicle. Well, you take them on anyway, and then you'll come to this Flexile Sentry Guardian. And a couple of interesting things to note. One half of the Flexile Sentry's got no armour on its chest, no torso armour, and you can see it's got blue skin, and that becomes pertinent later on in the story, given a character or an NPC that we'll meet who has a similar colour of skin later on. And also another thing to note is the armour is very similar, in my opinion, to the Ruin Sentinel's armour, just in terms of its gold colour and the design, and especially the kind of helmet. And they're probably been made or created by the same person, the Flexile Sentry and the Ruin Sentinel. So, but that's something that we'll discover as we go on in the game, in the second half of the game, which, like I said, starts now. So we get this Crescent Axe. I actually like this weapon. Gives you some lore about Shieldless Lothian, formerly of Feroza. The Golden Falcon Shield, talking about Vogan soldiers and the falcons that they brandished on their arms or whatever. And you don't actually encounter them in New Game, I don't believe. You only encounter those Vogan Falconers in New Game Plus. Anyway, this is a Shrine of Winter. It's necessary to come through here to get to the second half of the game, and you need either the 4 Ancient Souls, the Old Iron King, the Rotten, the Lost Sinner, and the Duke's Deer Freya, or you need to have obtained, in New Game only, 1 million souls. Obtained 1 million souls, not a soul memory of 1 million. In New Game Plus, it goes up another million, so you need 2 million souls to do the skip if you don't have the 4 Ancient Souls. This reminds me of Dark Diver Grando's portal. There's similarities with his portal, in my opinion. The columns that line the exterior of the building, and the interior columns as well, very similar to Dark Diver Grando's columns. And yeah, I wonder if this area will be used, this particular ruin will be used for the DLC, as a gateway to the DLC. You can see there's murals on the wall as well. And I don't know what these murals mean. I can't put them in a context with other parts of the game that we've encountered so far. All I can say is that you'll see those murals combined into one in an area later on in the game. It's actually the final area that you can reach through all the different pathways that you take. It's not the final area of the game, but it's like the final area you can reach through the pathways that are available to you in the game. Anyway, as you make your way up the path, and you can only go in one direction. Well, you can go in 2 directions, but as you can see, we picked up the repair there, spell, sorcery. And that's the other side of the wall where we fought the Flexile Sentry a moment ago. And as you come up the other side, which is this way, you find this Haid Knight. So just take him out. You know how similar fight, there's nothing new to the fight. But you do get a good drop from this Haid Knight. And I believe this is a 100% guaranteed drop. I've actually picked up all the Haid armour now in New Game Plus. Headlance, that was a good weapon, and it really is an excellent weapon. It has a strong attack, which is like multiple thrusts forward with the lance that staggers enemies quite easily. And it also has a lightning element to its attack, so it's got split attack capabilities. It does physical and lightning. And then as you progress forward, you come to this tunnel. This tunnel delineates the areas between where we've came from and this new kind of bleak foreboding atmosphere that you get as you approach Drangleic Castle. You can see now the sky's gone black, it's raining, you know that there's something strange up ahead or something different up ahead. You pass through this gate, and then we've got some royal swordsmen just up ahead as well. They're waiting to spring a surprise on you, and you're actually seeing my first time through this area because I hadn't reached this far when I played the PlayStation 3, so I didn't know these guys were here the first time I came round. And you can see I've only got 2 minutes left in my torch, and that's one thing. It's not annoying because I did spend a lot of time in the gutter and in Black Gulch using my torch. I just wish there had been like a vendor that you could have bought a torch from, because I definitely, I've not run out since, but in my first playthrough in PC I did run out of torches quite a lot. So these royal swordsmen, they're the same as the ones that we fought in the Lost Bastille. They're not dangerous individually, but if they swarm round you, they can be quite a deadly enemy. And they didn't actually just disintegrate into puddles there. I thought initially when I was playing through that's what happened. But as you can see, there was still one lying there. It's just that there's like water lying in the ground or something. I actually wish they hadn't put that crystal lizard over there, because it diverts your attention away from the glorious set piece which is Drangleic Castle. And I actually miss this crystal lizard. I swapped over to the large club or the giant club or whatever and tried to get it, but came a bit short. Yeah, I used the wrong attack, that was it. But I'll come back here to get him another time. But it's really eerie, it's creepy, it does give you the sense of something dark waiting up ahead.
This castle is isolated, but nonetheless you must forge on to bring an end to your journey and mine.
So she's living up to her name there as Emerald Herald, playing the Herald archetype. I don't know how, I guess the question you might ask yourself at this point is, how did she get here? She was in Majula as far as we were aware, and she just appears here at the entrance to Drangleic Castle. And it becomes clear later on, it's actually explained later on how she's able to move from Majula to here. Okay, so as you make your way up to the entrance of Drangleic Castle, you've got these two primal knights, and we encountered them at the door of Pharos. And these are like, if you read the description for the primal knights, they're like half human, half elephant or whatever. And that plays into the second part of the story as well. These kind of strange creatures that you encounter. Use the elevation of the stairs to your advantage. They seem to, their halberd has a problem connecting with you on the stairs, and I would recommend throwing things at them, like fire bombs, or the holy water urns work particularly well. I've already mentioned that in previous episodes, that holy water urns in this game are really overpowered, or they're just powerful. And if you're using a good upgraded bow, you can take these guys out from distance. But they do hit quite hard, and they do have a lot of health. So the description, what did I write there? The description flora about experiments, rituals that revived them. That was the word used in the description, was revived, not created. So they came about through rituals or experimentation, and they were revived, not created. So there's a mechanism that's required to gain entry, to Drangleic Castle. So you can see that there's two golems either side of these royal swordsmen. Yeah, you can see the golems there. And if I hadn't taken that crossbow to the chest, I would have discovered the mechanism straight away, basically. As it happens, I was a bit confused about how to get entry into the castle. I didn't put two and two together at first. Like I say, if that crossbow arrow hadn't struck me in the chest, I think I would have probably worked it out quite quickly. But I ended up spending a decent amount of time here trying to work out how to get access to the castle. It was my fault for going for like a strong attack. I should have just went for the quick one. So these royal swordsmen instantly spawn. And obviously that implies that they're required to get access to the castle, and that is the case. So you'll see what happens here. The soul makes its way into the golem's chest, and that revives the golem, or gives it life, gives it power, gives it energy, and then gives it its, it fulfills its purpose, which is to open the lock, or provide access to the castle, basically. I hadn't quite worked it out at this point. I probably should have been, on the ball a bit quicker, and, realised that I need to lure some of these royal swordsmen over to the other golem, and do the same thing. But I wanted to come round here anyway to have a wee look and see what was around here. I get my ass handed to me here, and I'm very lucky that I didn't die there, which would have really annoyed me, because at this point I was getting kind of a wee bit frustrated, I think, because I think by this point I'd realised what I had to do, but I wanted to go around the corner to get access to the chest. So the other question I had at the time when I was playing this was, after realising that the golems were required to get access, I was thinking, did this mechanism exist when the castle was in use? Because, that implies, not necessarily implies, but it suggests maybe that sacrifice was required to get access to the castle if it was needed. That you had to slay a person that had a soul, feed it to the golem, and or maybe they had some kind of, I don't know, system in place that released souls into the air and away you go, opens the door or whatever. So that's the door open. Make our way inside, meet iced tea, not the wrapper obviously. And you can see up there that there's a kind of like phantomy looking NPC or enemy, but it's kind of clear it's an NPC. There's an enemy down here. This is a new type of enemy. This is the Royal Guard. Their description states that they were high-ranking Drangleic knights who went insane owing to their armour, and they're wearing Sir Sign's armour. And Sir Sign was, I think that's how you pronounce it, Sir Cyan. Was like a highly ranked knight that was on the right hand side of the king, and he went insane or something. So this is Chancellor Walliger, and is he a projection? Is he a ghost? I'm not sure. Obviously his memory's failing.
You are a guest of our castle.
But it's strange, he has like You know, he hasn't lost all of his memories.
My lord, King Vendrick.
It seems to be like a selective memory loss.
Unfortunately, His Highness is absent.
He knows that King Vendrick's not here.
The Queen has taken him.
So we start to delve into this part of the story about the Queen and King Vendrick.
Accomplishment for the ages. He vanquished 4 great ones and built this kingdom upon their soul.
The 4 great ones being maybe the ones from Dark Souls 1, like Sif, Lord Gwyn,
Since ages long ago.
who else, maybe the 4 kings or whatever.
King Vendrick, we must fight back, or the giants will take Drangleic.
And we start to get the story about the giants as well.
Had a dear queen, a woman of unparalleled beauty. Long ago, the queen came to us, alone, from a faraway land. She warned our lord of the looming threat across the seas, of the giants. The king crossed the ocean, and defeated the giants, with the queen at his side.
So why would he go across? Why would he cross an ocean, leave his kingdom,
Dared their power.
and antagonise these giants? You know, there must have been something over there that was worth plundering,
Created this
or taking that risk of going across the sea. And
to celebrate victory
we get information here about golems.
to his queen.
All this story unravels as we progress through, but
Queen brought peace.
the Queen, the King, giants, golems, experimentation all become very important as the story develops.
The dark.
In the dark, you know, we've got hexes which are associated with the dark, and
Some sort of a dream.
so yeah, I don't know whether Walliger is a ghost or he's a projection that's been left here, maybe in purpose to try, you know. I don't know if it, you know, if he is a projection, because if he was a projection, surely, you know, they would, and he was like some kind of, it's the word oracle I'm looking for, not oracle. That's like somebody that predicts the future.
Guests are treated with honor. This is the way of our castle.
Like a tour guide, like a ghostly kind of tour guide, but I don't think so, because, well, unless his memory's degraded over time or whatever, and he's got defects in it. And anyway, you can buy stuff off of Walliger. He actually sells some pretty good gear, especially in New Game Plus. New Game Plus Plus, or is it New Game Plus Plus Plus, where he sells all the top tier like Covenant spells and whatnot. He also sells magic and lightning arrows and bolts, and I would recommend getting magic arrows or bolts for an area that's coming up later on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Next episode, more Drangleic Castle.